Hey, howdy ho, everybody! This is Postmortem Nightshade, and I am back here ready to report on another Mystery Movie Monday. Apologies for being a little late this week, but the mystery film I saw on Monday was One Spoon of Chocolate. Coming into wide release this weekend, this film was directed by RZA and stars Shamik Moore as our main protagonist. This also has Quentin Tarantino as an executive producer, which makes a ton of sense because of the editing style this movie employs and the hyper-violent revenge fantasy elements we see throughout the film. This movie very much feels like Kill Bill meets John Wick meets Taken. Running at 1 hour and 52 minutes, I am very pleased to say that even with the longer runtime, this film for me had great pacing and lots of action to keep the story from ever feeling too slow or too stale. Shamik Moore gave a very solid performance as our lead character, and I felt that the main protagonist was a well written, three dimensional character who had a lot of depth to him. This film's themes and ideas are extremely on the nose and not the least bit subtle. The writers quite literally punch you with brass knuckles across the face to make sure you don't miss what they're trying to say. And with the current state of the world, this messaging feels more relevant and necessary than ever, and it's clear that the writer and director did not want to be mistaken in what they wanted the audience to take away from this film. As I mentioned earlier, the violence and action are very hyper stylized, hence my comparison to Kill Bill. And this story drops you right in without any hand-holding whatsoever, leaving you to unravel what the hell actually just happened in the opening sequence. This movie thankfully avoids the dreaded CGI plasticky look, and there is plenty of practical blood and gore to keep this movie feeling grounded. Although I could have done with a little more blood and gore being seen on screen, however, I assume that with budget constraints they could only show so much, and I would much prefer practical gore over trying to subsidize with CGI if you don't have the budget. The color grading and cinematography felt very early 2000s, in a good way, and aesthetically, this movie kind of reminded me of movies like Saw and Seven. This was a solid action thriller, and one I would recommend seeing in the cinema, especially if you enjoy solid revenge adventures with a John Wick and or Tarantino flair. RZA is definitely a director I will keep an eye out for moving forward. So on my scale, this film gets a solid hey Heidi alrighty. But let me know in the comments your thoughts on One Spoon of Chocolate. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in, and if you'd like to follow along on my movie review journey, please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all very soon.